So now we are heading on to making the modern wedding cake, and we have just done all cakes throughout the course, and usually it is like we've learned everything cakes, and then my students get stuck when it comes to actually working on dummies. So this one lesson is dedicated for working with dummies, because sometimes you kind of have to work with collaborations or competitions, and you don't have to really put in the cake all the time. So then you don't have to get stuck when we have to work with dummies as well. So now here is the composition I've just made to work on with modern wedding cake. So modern wedding cake is nothing but not having to have bunches of flowers like the rose and the peonies to go on, and to make it look like traditional. So I'm just going to divide the wedding cakes into modern and traditional. So in the traditional, we've seen how we could just place the roses and the peonies on a cake, where we kind of have the stencils and the lace and stuff like that, which basically fall into the traditional. And when it comes to modern, we kind of play around with textures. Basically, there's some crackle textures with some dual tone is what I have. There are a lot of different kinds of techniques you could incorporate, and then putting everything together into one cake sometimes is not possible. Not sometimes, like it is not possible. So we will be exploring a different other techniques through this course as we work one-on-one together, and I'll be guiding you with different other techniques to work on your cakes. But right now in this lesson, I am going to teach you the texture that I have here in this cake, and then how I've just went on to place this this wine kind of bone arrangement on this cake. And I really liked how this colors went together really well, and the two tiers are already done. So I have the bottom tier into which I'll be teaching the textures that I have done on this cake, and then I'm going to place this one onto this to make it look like a really tall wedding cake. And I am also going to show you the bougainvillea arrangement onto this tier. So this tier is what I'll be working, and that will go complementing with the two tiers that are already made. So dummies are available in different sizes, and there are people and vendors who could customize based on the sizes you want. And if you know what is the size that you want to work, you could place an order for that specific height. So these dummies have come in the specific sizes that you see here. So the diameter and the height, and they are single dummies together. And not all the time we kind of get the height of the dummies in the exact same way that we want. So, and sometimes the ideal size that is available is this 4-inch, basically 4-inch is the height of the dummies that we get. So, what do we do in such cases? That is also something that I wanted to teach you here. So, it's nothing but preparing the dummies for making the wedding cakes. I mean, it could be modern, it could be traditional, or whatever it is. Even you could work on traditional wedding cakes when it goes to collaborations or competitions, but you just need to know how you need to deal with dummies. So I'm just going to stick these two dummies together, for which I'm going to use a hot glue gun. So the hot glue gun looks something like this. I'm just going to put it, plug this down. I'm just going to let the hot glue gun warm up. When you know it is warmed up, you will have this the hot glue coming out of this snout. And when I'm ready, then I'm just going to show you. I will be starting to applying this hot glue all over, and I will immediately place this dummy and trying to align the sides, because hot glue will just kind of stick right away, and you don't want to like give a gap. Like this is an exaggerated kind of gap, but even this kind of a gap, then if you're going to drape fondant all around, then you're just not going to have even sides. So you need to be sure of how you're going to position them so the gap is not seen at all. So once that is done, I will be able to just cover the entire dummy. Now this is dry, right? After we have the size necessary for the size of our bigger cake, now this is dry. On top of this, there is no need to add ganache or anything like how we do for the cakes. Now fondant goes directly on the dummies. Now how is this going to stick to the fondant? Now we are going to have shortening or margarine just spread out using our fingers, like massaging all over the surface completely, and then we just go on and then drape the cake. For now, I'm going to stick the both together once the hot glue is ready, and once it is stuck well, I will go on and then rub shortening all over. So this is starting to just flow out. I'm just going to take this and keep triggering. Like, you need to be a bit swift, and if it is like extremely hot also, the hot glue will kind of burn the, I mean, it's not burning, it will just dissolve the thermocol. You will have just a bit of time to move them and then bring them to the position. Now after which it will be one piece. Now it's just stuck well. Little bit pressure on the top just to be sure. And after a while it's not going to move. Okay. So that's about the one piece. I'm just going to remove if there's any excess around on the side. And then the next step to prepare, like I said before, shortening. Just take a little bit of shortening and then rub it all around.
And then on the top as well.
In case you're working on a dummy to make a ganache look, right? A ganache finished dummy, if you want to present, that is also still possible. In that case, you don't need to do the shortening application. Shortening application is specific to working with fondant on dummy, not for buttercreams or even ganache. You can work with dummies and buttercream, but then it is going to be a little difficult. The only reason is that the dummies are light weighted, and when you're going to do the buttercream, it could like keep moving. You just need to make sure, like, do a double tape or something and put it on a turntable just until you're ready to finish doing the coating of the buttercream or ganache. But here for us in this lesson, we'll just be working with fondant. So just make sure if shortening is applied all over, and then this is now ready. I'll meet you in the next lesson, and I'll start preparing the texture of the fondant soap. Catch you up in the next one.